can start.
Oh, no,
No,
you are not allowed to
no,
start.
you may not, ma'am. All right, 6 o'clock.
All right, call to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Benitez,
Present.
Mr. Exiotis, Ms. Persino,
Here.
Mr. Rufner,
Here,
Ms. Stemper.
Here.
Mayor,
Yeah,
yes. Like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Axiotis from tonight's meeting?
I will
Yes.
second that.
It's Mr. Rufner and Ms. Stemper. Ms. Benitez,
Yes.
Ms. Persino,
Yes.
Mr. Rufner,
Yes.
Ms. Stemper.
Yes.
Passed, 4-0.
we have any special presentations by staff members or invited guests or consultants tonight? All right. Okay, public comments, agenda items, 3 minutes or less. All right. Okay, we'll move into the reports. I was contacted today by a gentleman that owns the Holiday Inn and also the fellow that owns the convenience store in town. And since Rite Aid has went out of business, the Ohio State Liquor Store has went with it. So these gentlemen are looking to reestablish a liquor agency in town, which we've had as far back as I can remember. The liquor agency in town services retail as well as wholesale to bars and restaurants. So I'll be working with him, and at some point in time, the Ohio State Department of Liquor will want the consensus of council and, you know, for the citizens to make sure that everything's on board with reestablishing a liquor agency in town. Okay, members of council, Pat, do you have anything?
No, not at the moment.
Miss Jolie?
We had a fire board meeting last night. We're in the process of possibly selling First Street. That's been a conversation for some time. And also moving forward with looking at what options we may or may not have in regards to looking at potentially building or expanding our locations. We've kind of grown out of our buildings. So those will be some things that you'll be seeing and hearing. I'm just looking into seeing what options we may have. That's all I have.
Miss Brenda, do you have anything?
Oh, yeah, you know me, I have everything. Rest assured, I have turned in all issues brought to my attention with Everett's Memorial Park to both Parks and Rec and our city manager, so yes, that has been passed along. The next Park and Rec meeting is September 24th at 6 p.m. I encourage those of you with any and all concerns or questions, or even some ideas, to please attend the next Park and Rec meeting. Again, that's the 24th at 6 p.m. Or you can feel free to reach out to the Parks and Rec chairman, Laura Beth. She'll gladly assist you with any questions you have. I do want to say thank you to our city workers and Rice Landscaping, who worked hard on laying all the mulch down in all 7 parks. The parks are starting to look nice. It looks nice to have that brand new mulch. Also, Halloween dates. Cakewalk is October 26th from 2 to 4 p.m. Trick or Treat is the same date, October 26th from 4 to 6 p.m. And don't forget that the Newton Falls Elementary and Middle School will be holding their Trunk or Treat October 24th from 5 to 6 p.m. Also, I heard back from Mrs. Rankin and the students that were participating in the contest to paint the skate park. It's coming to a close, and the winner of that contest will be, their idea will be presented to Parks and Rec for approval. So that should be coming to our next meeting this month. I think it was wonderful, all the kids that got involved in that. I hear they had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing the outcome of it. And that's all I have.
Mr. Rupert, do you have anything?
The only thing I have real quick is attended the Autumn in the Falls event this past weekend. A lot of good stuff out there, a lot of good crafts. Of course, probably volunteered myself for some home projects myself in doing so, but again, I'm glad to see people coming out, people willing to talk, and again, and I'm probably speaking for everybody, but I can only speak for myself. If you have questions, please approach me. The best way to get the information out is to ask, rather than think you heard someone's second cousin's brother, sister said something. That's not what we can fall on as creditable. So please, you see us out and about, stop us, talk to us, So that's all I've got.
All right, Mr. Lembian, do you have anything tonight?
I don't have anything for public dissemination, but I would ask that we have just a very short executive session.
Mr. Novotny?
Yeah, just a couple things. The Dunkin' Donuts, there is work progressing out there. I actually talked to them today. They've got the footers are poured, conduits are getting put in. They're going to be pouring concrete before the end of the week for the floor, and first of the week walls will be going up. They didn't give an exact completion time or opening time, but they are progressing along nicely there. The Scott Street Sewer Project, the main line installation is complete. The contractor has vacated the city park and cleaned up where they had their yard set up there and fenced in, so that's all cleaned up. As far as any residents can be tying into the sewer system at any time. For any of the residents that filled out the forms and qualify for assistance from Trumbull County for the costs associated with their connections, the county is working on their portion of this now. They hope to have everything complete and ready to go out to bid for those connections by the end of March 25, by March 31st of 2025. They've got a lot of legwork to do to get that done. The Jackson Street, I've authorized Folk and Associates to conduct a survey and the platting of the area that is to be vacated. They're gonna work this into their schedule. They plan to have all their work done and everything back to us by the beginning of November, if not sooner, but they are scheduled out that far. With that, we have received 2 replies of interest from 2 of the 3 property owners that their property abuts up against that section of Jackson Street. A little information just on departments. Wastewater department, we had an employee off for a period of time who was involved in a motorcycle accident. He is healed and been released and back to work. Maintenance department, they're still working short-staffed. They're down 1 man. They should be back to full staff beginning of October, right around the beginning of October. The electric department, one of the electric department employees has turned in their resignation. Their last day will be this Friday. They're moving on to another position in the private sector. So the electric department is going to be working down 1 man for some time, as long as it takes to fill the position. I'll be working with Bill George to get the advertising out and get that position filled as soon as possible. So with that, that's all that I have.
All right. Article 8 would be approval of previous minutes.
I'll
And
make
that
the
was
motion.
Go ahead.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Mr. Rufner and Ms. Benitez. Ms. Persino,
Yes.
Mr. Rufner,
Yes.
Ms. Stimpert,
Yes.
Ms. Benitez.
Yes.
Pass 4-0.
Okay, public hearings. You have anything?
There are none.
No. Okay. And unfinished business.
Also none.
No? Okay, new business. Article 9, this is ordinance 2024-41. This is an ordinance amending ordinance number 2023-18. There's an attachment with this, and it's incorporated by reference as Exhibit A, hereby revising Section 141.07 of the Administrative Code, making the position of police chief a full-time position attached to Exhibit B, retroactively effective July 30th, 2023.
I will make that motion.
I will second.
Ms. Stimpert and Mr. Rufner.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, please.
I would like to offer an amendment to this ordinance, changing it to an emergency. Justification being to provide the chief with the pay, entitlements, and benefits that go with the position as full-time. He restarted the position back on September 9th, was reinstated. I feel we owe it to him. I mean, that's,
Can I speak on that amendment before we vote on it? Okay, I would just like to clarify, I know the news had said that we rehired. Chief Fixler is not rehired, he's just brought back like the court,
Reinstated?
reinstated. And so this language for this ordinance just puts everything back in place the way it should have never changed. His contract is in place, his pay's in place, full-time, the way his court ruling was, the way he left us. So I just wanted to clarify, there's no rehiring, it's just putting everything back the way it was supposed to be, it's legal, and it's right. So I will second the amendment for an emergency.
amendment is to add the word emergency to the title, and then add the emergency clause in the appropriate section, adding it to the ordinance. And the reason for the emergency is to ensure that the chief earns the benefits and pay entitled to him as
Specified in the contract.
as specified in the contract. Thank you.
This is an emergency. Do
So we need
read
to
this
vote
again?
on the amendment.
Okay.
Before we vote, could I ask
Yeah.
Mr. Limbian just to weigh in? I know we've had conversations of emergency and non-emergency. I feel like to be compliant with court rulings, contracts, that we need to get this cleaned up and fixed now. What's your thought? I just want to make sure you're,
I was just, my head was spinning here for a minute with the city manager, because if I read the statutory language correctly about emergencies, my concern is that if this is or is not amending the prior, the charter component that talked about it being part-time, when it was reduced to part-time, or does it?
It's not the charter, it's the administrative code.
That's what, I'm sorry, the administrative code. My appreciation that any administrative changes cannot be done with emergency legislation. I could verify that, but I was pretty certain that I read that correctly, that all changes to administrative code have to go through the normal legislative process. And it just sort of as an aside, I don't know that, with all due respect to the chief, that there would be any negative impact on it not being an emergency. I don't know that other than wanting to clean it up quickly because it's the right thing to do, I'm not sure that an emergency gets us there any better. It may get us there faster, but my concern is that it may not be legally appropriate to do it that way.
can I ask this? So legally, court had ruled he was to be reinstated full-time and everything. So I feel like legally, we are out of compliance by having him part-time. I mean, we were told, you weren't here, but we were told, correct me if I'm wrong, by the previous law director, don't do that, don't take him part-time, because we'd, be out of compliance and all that kind of stuff. So being out of compliance with a court ruling, does that institute emergency?
I'm not sure there's been a court ruling to that effect. I think we're just anticipating that based on other litigation, that it's apparent what will happen, and that it will be determined that actions in the prior council were inappropriate and contrary to law and contrary to the contract. So I would just caution that I wouldn't want it to be done hastily and then have to be redone again. But I don't know that that changes anything in terms of if the chief is just patient with us, it will all wash out in the end and all end up being, the chief will be made whole. But my concern is that emergency legislation is not the appropriate way to go about it, if I understood the statute correctly, and I think I did.
May I ask a question?
Please.
Is there anything we can do? I mean, we've brought him back, he's working full-time, bring back to the community, but we're not paying him the full-time rate, nor is he getting the health care benefits that is due that position. Is there anything we can do to at least provide for the medical benefits? We're asking him to come back and work. We've basically reinstated him back to a full-time position. It's just kind of,
I'm kind of understanding this as a reinstatement, not a rehiring.
well, right, it's a reinstatement. He's not rehired, we reinstated him to the position. But like I said, my concern is, and I'm sure it's probably a lot of people's concern, is the health care benefits. You're asking an individual to come back and work per a pre-existing contract that should, or in accordance with a pre-existing contract, which should have never been superseded the way it was, and we're not gonna give them benefits.
Councilman, I think that the best way to answer that from the law department's perspective is that when everything is retroactively applied after the administrative code is changed through the regular legislative process, that insurance will also be reinstated retroactively. So I don't think that there'll be any loss of financial remuneration or in terms of healthcare coverage. So I think he'll be covered in every regard as if he had never been inappropriately removed in the first place. Is that not right?
Chief, does that sound okay to you?
All right, I'll withdraw my motion to amend.
I'll withdraw my second. Do Mike want
No,
to?
it's fine. We're good.
You're good.
Yeah.
Okay, Article 7.
No,
Oh,
we
I'm
have-
sorry.
we have-
We're on
We would now vote on the
Yeah.
ordinance as presented. Mr. Rufner,
Yes.
Ms. Stimper,
Yes.
Ms. Benitez,
Yes.
and Ms. Persino.
Yes.
Pass 4-0.
Okay, now we're on to ordinance 2024-42. This is an emergency ordinance authorizing certain amendments to the appropriations for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024, and authorizing the finance director to amend and file a certificate of resources with the with the county auditor.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Rufner, is Ms. Benitez?
Yes. I just haven't addressed.
Yes.
Jamie, I want to thank you for the memorandum here. This is nice just to see it kind of laid out in, I'm going to say layman's terms, and just kind of having it summarized here, so I appreciate this.
If I may.
Yes, please.
Jimmy, would you like to elaborate on this? If anyone has any questions, I mean,
Well, sure. I mean, I've laid it out here if you just want to read it over. It's just, to me, it's just to make this advance so that we can proceed with one project for the electric substation, but also just a few increases to some funds for various reasons.
okay. And thank you also for the information.
Okay. And we are on to public comments.
You have to vote.
Oh, we got to vote. All right.
First vote.
This will be the first vote, then we'll read it again.
All right,
We'll need
I
a
got it.
second vote. Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Ms. Persino?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Stimper?
Yes.
Pass 4-0. First reading, now on to the second and final.
Okay. Ordinance 2024-42. This is an emergency ordinance authorizing certain amendments to the appropriations for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024, and authorizing the finance director to amend and file a certificate of resources with the county auditor.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Ms. Stimper and Mr. Rufner. Any discussion? Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Ms. Persino?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Stemper?
Yes.
Pass 4-0.
Okay, public comments. 3 minutes, anybody have anything? Okay. And our closing remarks. I have no remarks in closing. Council, Pat, do you have any closing
Yes,
remarks?
I have 3 things. Okay, first I talked with Mr. Colosimo, okay, and he gave me this paper about the Newton Falls Commerce for the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. And it looks rather interesting. And they're going to have, they even want to get a live nativity scene. It'll be something different, so that's that. And then the senior levy is going to be on the ballot. And our person from the Scope Center, Mary, she was at the meeting, and everybody has one of these papers. And if you have a $100,000 home, it's going to cost you $18 a year. And they're afraid that if this levy doesn't pass, that all the Scope Centers will be closed. And I know I'm in one of the activities, which is the Silver Sneakers, and there's like 35 people there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They have yoga. They're having a grief discussion, I think, once a month. They have mahjong, they have bingo, and, you know, so there's a lot of good things going on. And like I said, just because you're not old, I am old, I know that, but even if you're not old, you know, it's not gonna cost you that much. And like they put in a calzone a year, which, you know, okay. And your Dunkin' Donuts, I mean, I'm not against Dunkin' Donuts, don't get me, but you have that fancy coffee and everything, and just think what it costs. It will easily pay your $18.75. And then a representative from Dave Joyce's office was at the meeting the other day, and I have the brochures I passed out, and she said what their office can help you with. And the one thing that I liked was, if you look on the front, my office can also help you with, it said grant assistance. So if we could find some grants to do something and really mean we're getting these grants, I think it would be a, you know, good idea. That's all I have to say.
Ms. Julie?
I just have a couple, kind of all around the same conversation, but we did receive an applicant for a planning and zoning position. Mr. Axiotis represents the council for planning and zoning, so I will wait to have a conversation with him on the direction we move with that. And then just to kind of piggyback on that, we have open places on some of our committees, so please consider, look on the website and apply to Mr. Acomb if you're interested in any of those committees. All I have.
Ms. Brown?
First, I'd like to welcome back the chief. And I see in the back our town favorite, Officer Igor. Nice to see you. That's exciting for me. There was something else I was going to mention, but seeing Igor, just, you know. So I think I'm done.
I have nothing, Mayor.
Okay, we'll have a motion to go into executive session, as Mr. Limbian.
Thank you.
For the purpose of,
Litigation,
Pending and imminent litigation.
We also need Jamie back there.
yeah, probably, at least for our part, my question. Yeah.
motion?
Nobody yet.
I'll make it.
Oh, sorry.
I'll second.
Ms. Stimpert and Mr. Rufner. Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Ms. Persino?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
And Ms. Stimpert?
Yes.
Pass 4-0, 631. If I'm being honest.
Did you decide, did you decide to just sit back?
I usually walk out and go sign, so I was like, okay, here.
Oh, okay. I was like, are you sending us a message? What are you doing here?
Make a motion, we resume or return from executive session?
I'll second.
Mr. Rufner and Ms. Simpert. Ms. Simpert,
Yes.
Mr. Rufner,
Yes.
Ms. Persino,
Yes.
Ms. Benitez.
Yes.
Pass 4-0, 7:26.
And a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion.
Benitez,
I'll second.
Ms. Simpert, Ms. Benitez,
Yes.
Ms.
I made the
Pacino.
motion, I better say yes.
Yes.
Mr. Rufner,
Yes.
Ms. Simpert.
Yes.
Pass 4-0, 7:26.
Yes.
Amen.